Hi there. Welcome to Texas PTA's Foundations Essentials training. This training will provide you with the primary information you'll need to serve effectively on a PTA executive board. I'd like to thank you for taking on the rewarding role of a local leader. Your willingness to be a part of your leadership team makes a lasting impact for your campus and your community. In this training, you'll learn how the brave first steps of our founder, Ella Carruthers Porter, led to more than a century of PTAs in Texas, making a difference for every child. Whether you are brand new to PTA leadership or have been serving for many years, your actions and your voice help to make every child's potential a reality. Once you finish this training, you'll receive a certificate of completion. Make sure you send it to your local PTA secretary to be kept on file. Enjoy!
Vision and mission. We believe that every child's potential is a reality. Every day at Texas PTA is spent finding ways to engage and empower families and communities to advocate for all children. Purposes. Texas PTA operates on 6 essential purposes. All PTA programs aim to promote the welfare of children and youth in home, school, places of worship, and throughout the community. To raise the standards of home life, to advocate for laws that further the education, physical and mental health, welfare, and safety of children and youth. To promote the collaboration of engagement of families and educators in the education of children and youth. To engage the public in united efforts to secure the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social well-being of all children and youth. And to advocate for fiscal responsibility regarding public tax dollars and public education funding. National standards. Texas and National PTA utilize the national standards for family-school partnerships to build strong PTAs. All PTAs should help with welcoming all families into the school community, communicating effectively, supporting student success, speaking up for every child, sharing power, and collaborating with community. Policies. There are 3 policies which are essential to the protection of your nonprofit status. These are the same across the nation. PTA is nonpartisan. That means we are not affiliated with any political candidate or party, but that we can support any issues. PTA is non-sectarian. This means we are not to be affiliated with or limited to a specific religious denomination, and that anyone who supports the mission and purposes of PTA can become a member, no matter their background or beliefs. PTA is non-commercial. Non-commercial refers to an activity or entity that does not in some sense involve commerce, at least relative to similar activities that do have a commercial objective or emphasis. Simply put, that means that PTA does not buy or sell goods for the sole purpose of making profit. History. Texas and National PTA are proud of more than a century of history. On February 17, 1897, Phoebe Apperson Hearst and Alice McClellan Burney organized the National Congress of Mothers, which would later become the National Congress of Parents and Teachers, or National PTA, and in 1926, Selena Sloan Butler organized the National Congress of Colored Parents and Teachers. The 2 groups were unified on June 22, 1970. These founding women were pioneers in advocacy for children who understood the power of individual action and the influence of a united voice. Their vision to support children and families in the home and school was rooted in 3 founding principles: parent education, family engagement, and advocacy. We are often asked to describe the differences between PTA and other parent-teacher groups, or simply why a PTA can make a difference on a campus. Our commitment to parent education, family engagement, and advocacy for every child is what sets us apart from booster clubs or other groups centered on fundraising. National PTA has grown to more than 54 congresses, including all 50 states, the District of Columbia, Europe, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. Chartered in 1909, Texas PTA was founded by Ella Carruthers Porter. Ella was a single mother raising 3 children and wanted to connect with other moms to form a network that supported parenting. She placed an ad in the local paper to promote a Mothers' Club, and she received more than 100 responses. That was the beginning of the original Texas Congress of Mothers that was first organized at the State Fair of Texas on October 19, 1909, and would later become the Texas PTA. With a strong commitment in advocacy, Texas PTA opened its first office inside the state capitol in Austin. This unique opportunity allowed our first volunteer leaders to access policymakers at the highest level. As PTAs began to expand throughout the state, Texas PTA built a permanent office just 2 blocks west of the Capitol, where we have maintained our state headquarters since 1937. From our humble beginnings in Hillsboro, Texas PTA has grown to be the second largest state PTA with nearly 3,000 local PTAs representing more than 500,000 members. Although our communities have changed dramatically over the last 100 years, PTA has remained focused on our mission that every child's potential is a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for all children. Advocacy accomplishments. PTA is a strong vocal advocate for education at the local, state, and federal level. By working with educators, administrators, and trustees to create one clear voice for student success, PTA has been instrumental in strengthening education and improving the health and safety of children. Advocacy simply means the act of speaking on the behalf of or in support of another person, place, or thing. As parents, we advocate for our children all the time. What you do to improve laws, policies, and conditions on behalf of children is advocacy, whether in your community or at the district, state, and federal levels. PTA defines advocacy as the act of mobilizing individuals and local PTAs to work with the state and national PTA to spark changes in programs and policies that benefit children. Texas PTA continues to be at the forefront of important issues facing Texas families. Some of our early achievements included the abolition of the public drinking cup, creation of vaccination requirements, creation of birth certificates, creation of kindergarten, creation of school lunch programs, the proper construction of school buildings, the Married Women's Property Rights Bill, allowing jury service for women. Some of our recent legislative successes: T21, raising the age to purchase tobacco products, transformation of school funding system, increased emphasis on school safety, funding of school-based health clinics, including school supplies to the annual tax-free holiday, the restriction of children riding as cargo in the back of pickup trucks, statewide safety standards for playgrounds, graduated driver's license for teenagers, reduction in the number of end-of-course exams required to graduate. In recent years, Texas PTA's advocacy work has helped to pass Senate Bill 179, also known as David's Law, which fights cyberbullying on and off the school campus house. Other priorities include school funding reform, funding for special education, school safety, and literacy by 3rd grade. Learn all about our priorities in action at texaspta.org/advocacy. Value of membership. What allows for us to accomplish these advocacy achievements is our membership base. Sustaining and growing membership must be a priority for every PTA leader involved at any level of PTA. Your PTA serves as a front door of our association. Part of that responsibility means seeking out each family in your community, personally inviting them to join your PTA, and welcoming them into your association. One way to both gain and grow strong membership is to offer programs. PTA has been providing programs for more than 100 years, and they must always support the mission and purposes of PTA. These programs can provide parent education and information necessary to raising happy, healthy children, bring the home, school, community, and place of worship closer together for the benefit of all, provide content and value to the meetings, cover a variety of program topics relevant to the issues facing parents and students today, and presented by teachers or administrators, an outside agency or community group. While fundraising is often necessary in order to further the work of your PTA, you should have only one fundraiser for every 3 programs you offer. Consider parent education, family engagement, and advocacy efforts when you think about programs. Texas PTA provides free programs to PTAs for parent education events on a wide range of topics. Visit www.texaspta.org/programs to find them. For these programs and others to be successful, PTAs must have the support of a strong membership. PTA hierarchy. Let's take a look at PTA structure. First of all, anyone who believes in and supports the mission and purposes of National PTA and Texas PTA can join any PTA. This includes parents, teachers, administrators, students, family, and community members. You can also be a member of multiple PTAs. Our unique layered structure offers each PTA support and encouragement, while making certain that our grassroots members and leaders remain at the center of our association. PTA members and leaders guide our efforts at all levels of policy development and decision making. Let's begin at the local level. One of the greatest benefits of choosing PTA for your campus is access to a larger network of volunteer leaders, the local PTA Executive Board, who emphasize collaboration, support, and the exchange of ideas. The majority of our local PTAs are members of a council PTA. Your council PTA may be organized geographically by school district, city, county, or larger regional boundary. Council PTAs serve as a first line of support for their member PTAs, provide ongoing communication to recognize and share best practices, and are active in promoting state and national PTA programs and resources. Texas PTA has field service representatives, FSRs, to provide the same level of quality field service to what we call independent PTAs. FSRs are seasoned leaders, highly knowledgeable in all things PTA. With our state headquarters in Austin, Texas, PTA's board of directors and staff work together to deliver high-quality programs and relevant resources to be utilized by our local PTAs across the state. The all-volunteer board of directors that governs your state association is a direct link to the work being done at thousands of campuses throughout Texas. Texas PTA's board of directors is composed of 15 members. 8 of the members are elected officers: President, President-elect, VP Programs, VP Field Service, VP Membership, VP Leadership, Secretary, and Treasurer. 7 are members at large, 3 of which are appointed by the President and 4 of which are elected. Elections are carried out by vote at our annual meeting in even-numbered years. Launch annual meeting. Let's talk about the annual meeting. As a PTA leader, you are encouraged to send as many delegates as possible, including yourself, to Texas PTA's annual meeting so that your voice is heard and represented at the state level. During the annual meeting, voting delegates will also consider legislative positions and resolutions that will guide our legislative priorities for the coming year. The annual meeting is held in conjunction with our largest yearly training event, Launch. Launch is an opportunity for PTA members all over the state to share in camaraderie, networking, and fun. You will find future dates, locations, and registration opportunities at www.txpta.org/launch. Parliamentary procedure. Several decades ago, PTA adopted Robert's Rule of Order, newly revised, as a parliamentary authority. The rules of parliamentary law protect the rights of the majority, the minority, individual members, absentees, and all of these together. Parliamentary procedure provides a standard for conduct, is based on common sense, and provides order and consistency. Every PTA should have a parliamentarian on their executive board. Bylaws and standing rules. Bylaws are the document adopted by an organization which contain the basic rules for governing that organization. They are always superior to the standing rules in parliamentary authority. Always look first in your PTA's bylaws for an answer on any question, and then the standing rules if adopted, and finally in Robert's Rules of Order newly revised. Texas PTA provides the required template for all local PTAs. Only information specific to your local PTA can be changed. Use the Texas PTA Local PTA Bylaws Snapshot as a quick reference to those items that can be personalized in your PTA, such as the amount of your dues or the number of vice presidents. The bylaws can be amended by vote at any membership meeting by giving members 30 days notice, pending approval from Texas PTA. Bylaws cannot be suspended for any reason. Standing rules relate to details of the administration of a group rather than to parliamentary procedure. Standing rules can't conflict with the bylaws. Standing rules may be required in certain circumstances. They generally describe the chair and other unique duties not covered in the bylaws. Standing rules are generally adopted and amended as a need arises. Bylaws and standing rules must be approved by Texas PTA before taking effect. Standards of continuing affiliation. Local PTAs must meet the following requirements each year to obtain what we call active status with Texas PTA. First, the PTA must collect and send membership dues for at least 20 members to Texas PTA and National PTA. Second, the PTA must submit the name and contact information of at least one current executive board member. Active status is used to determine eligibility in some Texas PTA programs and services. Good standing. To remain in good standing, local PTAs must maintain active status with Texas PTA, report all members and remit all state and national dues to Texas PTA each year, submit to Texas PTA the name and contact information for each executive board member within 15 days of election or appointment. Each year, within 60 days of fiscal year end, electronically file and have accepted by the IRS the Form 990, return of organization exempt from income tax. Review local PTA, bylaws, and standing rules if applicable every 3 years and submit to Texas PTA for approval. Boardsmanship. Board members have 3 fundamental responsibilities when it comes to their organization. These are duty of care, duty of loyalty, and duty of obedience. Duty of care means that the board member should be an active participant, attending board meetings, is educated on the inner and outer workings of the organization, provides strategic leadership and direction, and helps to oversee daily operations of the PTA. Duty of loyalty requires the board member to operate in the interest of the local PTA and not to use their position to further any personal agendas. Duty of obedience requires that the board member educate themselves on state and federal laws and regulations that apply. This includes regulations and guidance issued by the IRS, but it means so much more. In addition, board members should lead the charge in being obedient to governing documents, including bylaws, rules, and guides, and should not act outside the scope of those documents. As a board member, your title may be simple and specific, but your responsibilities extend much further. All executive boards should set goals through plans of work, regularly review the PTA's guiding documents and the minutes of each meeting, help prepare a budget for the members to approve. No financial transactions should occur until an approved budget is in place. Also, a major duty of the Executive Board is to approve the payment of routine bills within budget limits. With an approved budget, the Executive Board can handle the day-to-day financial transactions of the local PTA. Sign the confidentiality, ethics, and conflicts of interest agreement. The confidentiality, ethics, and conflict of interest agreement is signed and adopted by the Executive Board each new term. All Executive Board members must sign this policy per the bylaws. This policy clearly defines the duties and responsibilities of all Executive Board members to conduct the business of the PTA in a responsible manner without conflicts of interest. Contribute a records retention policy which explains where, how, and for how long items and records should be stored. The policy should be presented to the members for approval at the first membership meeting of the year. The records retention policy is adopted by the members at a membership meeting, amended as necessary, and reviewed by the Executive Board annually. Provide leadership at all PTA meetings and functions. Understand the role of each board member and fill vacancies as they arise. Recruit new members and leaders. Share your experience with your successor. Working with the principal. School principals are automatically members of the local PTA Executive Board. As parents and students rise through the grade levels, the school administration often remains the point of continuity for the PTA. Principals should be invited to all meetings and activities and be consulted on plans and goals. The principal will play an integral part in encouraging teachers and staff to become participating members of the local PTA. Local PTA structure and committee work. The major work of the PTA is done through the committee structure. Committees are appointed or elected to carry out the work of the organization. There are two types of committees. Standing committees have a continuing existence, such as membership, programs, arts and education, and hospitality committees. Special committees go out of existence as soon as they have completed a specific task, such as nominating, financial reconciliation, and tellers committees. The chairs of standing committees are appointed by the president with the approval of the rest of the board as soon as possible after the election meeting. They are appointed quickly so that they may take advantage of training offered in the spring and summer to allow plenty of time for planning the upcoming year. These chairs should represent a wide cross-section of the PTA membership. The president also appoints the chairs and members of special committees unless specifically stipulated in the bylaws or standing rules. For example, the nominating committee is always elected by the PTA members, and the committee then chooses one of their members as their chair. The president is a member ex officio of all committees except the nominating and financial reconciliation committees, and, as such, is notified of all meetings and each committee. The principal or other administrators can be valuable resources and can be asked to serve in an advisory capacity. Committees function as an extension of the PTA and operate within the framework of the PTA bylaws and policies. They work on projects as described in plans of work approved or as assigned by the Executive Board. They report to the Executive Board and members as necessary, but can only make recommendations, not decisions. A committee report contains only what has been agreed upon by a majority vote of the committee. Reports with information are read to the voting body. Those requiring action are recommended to the voting body in the form of a motion. The reporting member usually moves for adoption, no second needed when coming from committee, and the president calls members to vote to accept or reject. Communication. As you learned at the beginning, the first ever PTA meeting was formed by placing an ad in the local newspaper. That simple communication resulted in 100 new members and an organization that would live on for more than 110 years. Open communication and teamwork are hallmarks of PTA. Great PTAs do the following: support the decisions of the executive board. Decisions are made by the group, not by individuals, and as such, must be supported by the entire executive board, even if an executive board member disagrees in a meeting. Everyone is on the same team, and every team member needs to support each other. Treat each executive board member with dignity and respect. Avoid personality conflicts. Do not take things personally. As a volunteer, we work with several different personalities, and we have to learn to work with each other as a team. Include everyone. Take into consideration a good time to hold executive board meetings to include working parents. Actively recruit executive board and committee members that represent a good cross-section of your population. Encourage involvement in meetings and participation in the discussions. Involvement and input from non-executive board members can build the community that PTA needs for support. Maintain confidentiality. Open, honest discussion within executive board meetings can be crucial to making informed decisions, but that discussion should not be shared outside of the executive board meeting. Sharing how the decision was made could be harmful both to individuals and to the PTA as a whole. At the end of a meeting, specifying what information is ready to be made public and what remains private is a best practice. Budget for training opportunities. Texas PTA's launch is the premier training opportunity. Budgeting for this training sends a strong message to leaders on a commitment to support them and the importance of their position. Communicate. Open communication is key to the success of the PTA. Everyone should effectively communicate on a regular basis with one another. Various forms of communication should be used, but sometimes the person, the situation, or the topic requires one-on-one communication. In this day and age, reaching parents and community might take a little more legwork. PTA leaders can be the source of diversifying membership through strong communication skills. There are a number of ways to reach former members and to recruit new ones. Thorough PTA communication keeps members engaged and on the same page as the work of the organization gets done. We recommend PTAs provide ongoing communication with members throughout the year. This could be through social media, email, or newsletters. Resources. You will undoubtedly run into unique situations, have questions, or concerns. Bylaws, followed by your standing rules, followed by Robert's Rules of Order, are the parliamentary authority. Your council PTA or field service representative are often a quick and effective resource for many questions. Texas PTA staff and board directors are also available to answer any of your questions. Our toll-free number is 1-800-TALK-PTA. The PTA website at www.txpta.org contains a number of valuable resources that are available to PTA members. In addition to publishing several position-specific email newsletters, Texas PTA is proud to have a digital magazine called The Voice. Check it out at www.thevoice.txpta.org. National PTA's website, www.pta.org, is another valuable resource. Next steps. So what now? Texas PTA requires all local and council board members to complete this training. You did it, in addition to position-specific training. Go to www.txpta.org/training to get yours.